In this video, I want to talk a little bit about speech organization and transitions in particular. So when we think about speech organization, I think of it in terms of sandwiches, which may seem a little odd, but let me just show you. This is a Sloppy Joe, which I love. I love Sloppy Joes. And when you have a Sloppy Joe, though, everything kind of mixes together, right? All the meat and the sauce and the onions, and it mixes, just mushes together and even seeps into the bun so that all kinds of becomes one glob of a sandwich. The Sloppy Joe does, and that's really not what it's great for sandwiches, but it's not what you want for your speech organization. You don't want everything to kind of run together and get mixed up to one big glob. What you want in terms of speech organization is more like a BLT, where you've got very distinct layers, a distinct layer of bacon, a distinct layer of tomato, a distinct layer of lettuce there, and so it all kind of stays separate. And that's what you want in terms of speech organization. You want a BLT, not a Sloppy Joe, because we ought to be able to identify your main points individually. They shouldn't all run together. It shouldn't just all be one, 5-minute blob of material. It ought to have distinct main points with very clear distinctions between each of those ideas. And so some additional ideas for organizing main points. So some tips here for you for organizing main points so that you can establish that BLT a little better. First of all, you ought to have 2 to 5 main points. Less than 2 is not ideal because it's only one main point, and then that's one blob, so you ought to have at least 2. But you don't want any more than 5, both because you're going to run into time issues, probably, certainly in this class, and in any class speech that you're probably going to give. More than 5 is going to be difficult to fit in because you're just not going to have time to get to all that material. You're going to end up running very light. It's going to be very broad, but very shallow, no depth of material there. So you want between 2 to 5 main points typically. And it's also, when you get more than 5, it's hard for the audience to comprehend and understand and retain more than 5 main points. So you want to stick between 2 and 5 main points. You also want to think of each main point like its own mini thesis. And there are a couple of things that we do to make that happen. But you have your main point, you have your central idea statement for the speech, but you also need each one to have kind of a mini thesis in its main point. So each main point ought to be a declarative sentence, and it ought to support the main thesis or the main central idea for that speech. But each main point ought to have its own kind of mini thesis involved in, and ought to represent some specific idea. You want to use parallel construction when possible with these main points. Use parallel word and parallel language for construction of these main points. So that'll help the audience identify them as main points when you're using that parallel word structure. Be very, very cautious of using the word "and" in your main point, because that's going to really signify that you're trying to cram 2 main points into one thing. And you don't want that. Each main point ought to be its own thing. So when you have the word "and" in there, make sure that it's not really just trying to disguise putting 2 points together in one main point when you don't think you have enough room to put them in 2 main points. So be cautious when you're using "and" in terms of main points. And finally, consider primacy and recency. People, we know from studies and things, people remember best what they hear first and what they hear last, and what happens to them first and what happens to them last. So you need to keep that in mind when you're thinking about main points. You don't put your most important point in the middle. You put it first or you put it last because people are more likely to remember it that way. So keep in mind the idea of primacy and recency in developing main points as well and organizing those main points. The other thing to keep in mind for overall construction and organization of a speech is the importance of transitions. Transitions are how we get from one main point to the next, and we move the audience on from one main point to the next. It's also how we delineate and differentiate between those main points and help them to become distinct and separate in terms of main points. So I want to talk about some types of transitions that you can use, some more practical than others probably, especially in a classroom setting. But the first is what we call signposts. So signpost is just a way to kind of do exactly what a sign does in the road. The sign in the road tells you, hey, this is coming up, we're changing directions, turn here or whatever. So a signpost in a speech does just that, very simply by using a word or a short phrase to indicate to the audience that this delineates a main point, this indicates a main point. So we do that by saying things like first, or second, or third, or finally, or last, or in conclusion, as I conclude, or next, those are all examples of signposts. When they're followed by then the rest of that main point, it tells the audience we're moving on to something different, we're doing something different here, we're changing gears, so pay attention, something different is coming up. You also have what we call the review preview, and essentially the review preview is where we smash together the point we just talked about and the point that's coming up. So you would state both the point that you just talked about and the point that you're going to be talking about next. So if I was giving a speech about Ronald Reagan and talking about his failed presidential campaign in 1976, and then the next point was his presidential tenure from 81 to 89, then I would want to mention both those things in my transition. I might say something like, now that we've discussed Reagan's failed presidential run in 1976, let's discuss his tenure as president from 1981 to 1989. So see, I've mentioned both of those things in that one sentence, telling the audience one more time both what we just talked about and what we're going to be talking about next. So that's what we call the review preview transition. Next, you can ask a rhetorical question. You can use rhetorical questions as a type of transition. So you pose a rhetorical question to the audience. It gives them that indication that we're moving on, but it also indicates what the point is that's going to be coming up next. Finally, you can do internal previews, or what we call internal summaries. Really, these would be most helpful if you have a main point that's really complex and that has multiple points in and of itself. You might do an internal preview then to kind of indicate what those points are, or an internal summary to review what you just talked about. If you have, again, a particularly deep and detailed main point, then you may consider that's probably not something you're going to use a whole lot, especially in the classroom type setting, but know that those are options that you can do in like a mini preview and mini summary for that main point specifically. You're going to do previews and summaries for your preview and review for your speech as well, as a whole, but you could do it for your main point in order to, if you had a really complicated main point, really involved main point then. So, if you have any questions about speech organization or about transitions, please feel free to contact me. This is just a brief summary, so please feel free to email me. I'd be happy to answer any questions that I can about this or any other public speaking topic that you might have. Thank you.